Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome for the first time. My name is Brad, and I like to talk about queer books. I thought it would be a great opportunity to revisit the Game Changer series by Rachel Reid, especially with Heated Rivalry getting all of this attention and being in the media and having just released on HBO to a lot of success. I just thought it would be fun to take a look back at the series and give you my ranking all in one place. Now, I have made some shorts around each of the books in the series, and then I did one compiling the whole ranking, but I wanted to use this as an opportunity to revisit the series and really think about what each book sort of like meant to me. And yeah, it was nice to revisit the characters and to really think about what I loved about each book. And now, granted, I do love some books more than others within the series, and that's reflected in my ranking. But I was entertained in every single book. And I think one of the things that goes without saying is that you get an opportunity to see the development of other characters within each of the Game Changer series. And that, to me, is such a great added bonus to the books themselves. So for instance, Ilya Rozanov is in every single book. And that's a selling point for most people because Ilya is a wonderful character and has a ton of support. So even just getting to see him interact with the main characters makes the experience worth it, even if I thought that the book was middle of the road. So without further ado, here is my ranking of the Game Changer series by Rachel Reid. Coming in at number 6 is Common Goal. Now, this book is the 4th book in the overall series, and it follows Kyle and Eric. Kyle is a friend of Kip from Game Changer in book 1. And so he's already an established character. And Eric is a professional hockey player. He's a goalie who is also an established character. And they sort of meet up and develop a relationship. Now, the biggest thing to note here is that this is my least favorite for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason for me is that Eric is such a wonderful character, and I loved getting to read him. And I didn't think that Kyle was great. I thought Kyle was lacking. I thought Kyle was immature. And now this is an age gap romance, which I don't usually typically read a ton of. And the age gap kept coming up as like a reason to create conflict for them. And I said this in my original review, but it reminded me of Jessica from Love is Blind season 1, who continued to say things like, well, you're 24, I'm 34. And when you're 26, I'll be 36. And it's just like, yes, we get it. There's an age gap. Like that shouldn't be, I don't know. I get why it's the focal point, but I think that was my biggest issue. I think also like Eric as a character is just wonderful. He is coming into retirement from hockey and he is exploring his bisexuality. He's always known he's been bisexual, but he's never explored that with anybody because he's been married to a woman for so long. So Kyle presents this opportunity for him to kind of push himself and be comfortable with who he is and explore things that he hadn't had an opportunity to do before. So there was a real beauty in what Kyle provided Eric, but for the most part, I think that it just didn't land for me. I wish that the couple had been better for each other. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that was just like the vibe I got. I do think that Eric too, a lot of focus went into like his control. Like he needs to control everything in his life. And so Kyle presented this opportunity for him to kind of like let that go and give up control in certain areas, but especially in the bedroom. And I think that was really great to see. Eric's growth was amazing and Kyle's was blah. I don't like Kyle, and that's okay. I don't have to. But that is the reason why Common Goal is the lowest ranked on this list. Coming in at number 5, we have Game Changer, which is the first book in the whole entire series. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because this is ranked 5th doesn't mean I didn't like it. I actually really enjoyed this. I would say that this book, compared to the others, I thought it was cute. This follows Scott Hunter, who's a professional hockey player, and he has a meet cute with Kip, he works at like a smoothie joint, and he is trying to figure out his life. He doesn't have a ton of direction, and they have a little meet cute, and they start dating, and the relationship progresses from there. And I can just remember when I was reading this thinking that they were so cute together. And that's as far as, like, I didn't think that the relationship was hot and steamy and like so phenomenally great. I just thought they worked well together. They did things that were cute and romantic, and that's kind of where it stopped for me. Now, one of the things that comes up, this is a hockey player and not a hockey player, so there's a wealth gap between the two. Scott sort of knows where he's going in life. He's established, and Kip is sort of aimless, and so that comes up as a point of contention a lot, especially because Scott wants to take care of Kip, and Kip is trying to, be independent and doesn't like that there's such a disparity in their wealth. And then Kip is out and Scott is not. So that is another point of conflict. Overall, entertaining book. I enjoyed it. It was good. There wasn't anything glaring like in Common Goal, and the other books in the series just blew this one out of the water for me. So that is why Game Changer is number 5. Coming in at number 4, and I know that I'm going to get some heat for this, is Heated Rivalry. Now, hear me out. The reason why Heated Rivalry is number 4 is because I feel like Ilya and Shane's relationship gets so much better and developed in the long game, which continues their story. Heated Rivalry provides the basis for that. And this is the first book that I read in the series. I absolutely loved it when I read it. It has my heart. And one of the things that I loved is that the rivalry between Shane and Ilya in the books is like so palpable. And I think that's where I've been thinking about the TV show a lot, and they aren't really rivals. They don't like fight or butt heads. And I feel like that was more present in the books. And I think it's also because you get inner thinking and you get to really see inside how they view the other character, and not necessarily just like having to deal with their facial expressions and their physical body language that you get in the show. So I loved how much they couldn't stand each other. And then from there, their love sort of blossomed. And the thing with Heated Rivalry is, I'm sure if you've seen the show, it takes place over a long period of time. And because of that, you really see how their relationship kind of evolves, and they slowly start falling for one another. And that, I think, is why I like this book so much, because it was a natural progression. It wasn't insta love, like kind of like in Game Changer. They had to work for their relationship to work, if that makes sense. And then you have the added element of them being on opposing hockey teams and having to both hide it because they're not out in this sport. And so, yeah, I love this book. Don't get me wrong. But for me, this book is a solid number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Tough Guy. When I read this book, I was over the moon for Ryan Price. I still am. Ryan Price is one of the most beautifully written characters in this series, and I thought his struggles with his career and with his mental health were beautiful. I also felt that the spice in this book was increasingly important because the spice itself was used in the development of not only Ryan Price, but his relationship with Fabian. So this book follows Fabian, who is a musician, and Ryan Price, who I say his full name, but it's Ryan, who is a hockey player. And it's kind of like a second chance romance. Basically, Fabian's family, when he was younger, they used to host hockey players for the season, and Ryan used to live with Fabian's family. And so they were kind of friends. There wasn't a relationship between them, so it's not really second chance, but they know each other previously going into their relationship that sort of develops. So it's sort of second chance. It's very much opposites attract. Fabian does not like hockey, and he doesn't like what hockey is doing to Ryan, both mentally and physically. And I think that becomes like a super large point of contention between the two as they start dating. I think I just loved these two characters together. I thought Fabian and Ryan were perfect, and I thought that Ryan was someone I just wanted to hug the whole time and be like, you know what? It's okay to not be okay. Oh, gosh. I love this book so much. Now on to number 2, The Long Game. The Long Game is so good, and it almost is number 1, but when I get to number 1, you'll see why. The Long Game is, to me, the best part of Shane and Ilya's relationship. It's developed, it's established. You see them still trying to make it work after some time has passed and things keep coming up, and it is working for them, but it's not perfect. Their relationship is not perfect. And I think the biggest thing that I love in this one is Ilya's mental health rep and how he processes it and looks for help, and then how that impacts his relationship with Shane. And Shane gets a lot of flack in this book, and for understandably, I mean, that's how it's written. But I think too, there's a gap in their communication that gets fixed at some point, and you see why they're perfect for each other. And I just thought it was a beautiful end to their story and the whole entire series, even though I wish there were more. But now we get the TV show, so that's good. And yeah, I mean, Shane and Ilya is essentially the heart of this entire series. I think without the fandom that couple has, then, you know, the show wouldn't have been made, and there wouldn't be as much exposure to the other books. And Ilya being in all of them is just a great, seals the deal for me. But yeah, so that's number 2. Which leads me to my last and final number 1 role model. Now here's the thing. Ilya and Shane are great. Ryan and Fabian are great. And as individuals, Ryan Price and Ilya Rozanov are the be-all, end-all. But as a couple, you cannot convince me otherwise. Troy and Harris are the absolute best. I love these two with my whole chest. I will say it, scream it from the rooftops. They are beautiful together. Period. Now, this book follows Troy, who gets transferred to the Ottawa Centaurs, and he hates it. He hates being there. He is the epitome of Black Cat. He is always in a bad mood. And Harris is the social media coordinator for the Ottawa Centaurs. And he is openly gay. He is a golden retriever if there ever was one. He's happy and positive, and the dynamic between Troy and Harris immediately when they meet is so apparent and so cute. And there's friction, right? Because Troy is just gloomy all the time, and Harris, that's not possible for him. And I just loved the relationship between these two and how Harris reaches Troy on a level that nobody else can and gets him to really look at himself, but also realize that it's okay to be who you are and live your life openly and honestly. And Harris is unapologetically queer and proud of who he is. And Troy needs that in his life because Troy has grown up in a toxic masculinity situation. He has surrounded himself with that in his hockey, in his childhood. And he has kind of like fed into the homophobia to put up these walls around himself so he doesn't have to deal with his own sexuality. And Harris is perfect for him because in their relationship, he kind of brings all those walls down. And I need to reread this book. I love this so much. And Harris and Troy will always have my heart. So this book for me is number one. I think it touches on a lot of topics. And there are so many moments in this book that like brought tears to my eyes, just in terms of being proud of who you are and sexuality in general and it being okay. Like, you are okay being who you are with the person you love. Plus, also, Role Model is kind of like a dual timeline with The Long Game. So some of the things that come up in Role Model, you will see play out in The Long Game. So I just think that book itself is just warm feelings all around. So yeah, that is my Game Changers ranking. Feel free to leave a comment about what your ranking is, or if you agree with mine, or if you think something should be moved around. I totally love talking about the Game Changer series and look forward to doing so with you. So if you do want to check out my other reviews, they're a little bit shorter and maybe not as coherent, but you can check out my shorts with the Game Changer book series, and as well as my reactions to the first 2 episodes of the TV show. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.